Welcome back to Soccer Card United. It's episode 258 of the greatest soccer card podcast in the world. My name is Jason. That's Enzo. Hello, Enzo.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
I am good. I'm excited to be starting another week of podcasts.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I'm so excited is that Dublin Card Show tickets have been moving at a great pace over the last couple of days.
We're hitting, I don't know what you call this. We're hitting our stride, no doubt about it.
Yes. People may remember that we started promoting the Dublin Card Show way in advance of where we started promoting it last year.
Thank God.
But still, we kind of gave ourselves that extra time. But now tables are already sold out, but tickets are starting to move around the same time they started to move last year, which maybe tells us about how far in advance people plan these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily planning card shows, years in advance,
Exactly, especially if you're local. You don't need to decide you're going to go into town.
You've already decided you're going, and you're like, I'll buy the ticket whenever. That's
Exactly.
No doubt about it.
But we've been sharing some of these lovely little Instagram reels with testimonials from vendors and visitors from the first year show, and people are starting to get into it.
Yeah, no, we're building momentum. We're getting a lot of messages. We're getting a lot of I feel like every single day there's tickets flying out, which is building up. So I really hope that just continues till Christmas, because we're not really promoting until after Christmas and January, pretty much, giving ourselves 2 months of promo time. Jason, we're going to be in full marketing mode for 2 months. But I'm just super happy. I'm happy to see it. It's going well so far, and I think we had great success year one, and we're just hoping that momentum carries through this year, and we just have another blockbuster, and then we have another year, Jason, to prepare for year three, which is
so thank God.
It just feels so like there's so much benefit to that. Just like an entire year instead of the time ticker ticking away.
Yeah, as soon as you put that clock on for the show, you're on it. So we get about a month maybe next year without any looming card show, and then it'll be back
at it again. No doubt about it.
And there are some very exciting pieces in terms of vendors that are coming, sponsors that are coming, different activities that are going to be running on the weekend. So there's a lot of, we haven't even really started announcing stuff. We've just announced the date of the show.
There's a lot to announce. There's a lot to be done. We're still waiting on a couple things to be signed off on.
Yeah.
And there's some things that we want to announce before we announce other things, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
But and there's one big thing we're really hoping we can pull off in time for the show. That might be after the show. So we need to look at that. But I'm hopeful of that kind of getting across the line in February, and we can really get excited about it.
Okay, right. So that's just a quick little promo for the Dublin Card Show. But even more exciting than the Dublin Card Show year two, if you can imagine something.
Not possible.
Is that Topps apparently have realigned the UEFA club competitions hobby release calendar, and there is going to be a pre-order for Topps UCC or Topps flagship today, the 12th of November, today as this releases. This is a big shock and a big change. Flagship before Christmas.
Talk about a stocking filler.
Exactly. 2024-25 Topps UEFA club competitions pre-order available November 12th, 2024 at 12 p.m. Eastern time, or I believe 4 p.m. GMT. Almost said 6 because it's 16 on the 24-hour clock. Anyway, we have our first little images here of some of the cards.
See the Chrome Mojo case hit is back. I see that in the back.
Oh yeah, Chrome Mojo case hit. Cover stars. They're Jude Bellingham looking like he's on the cover of a magazine.
Vogue or something.
Yes. Because some of these players now, they're not just footballers. They're also kind of fashion icons.
That's right. Fashion over, no doubt.
Messi, just a Messi card. There's some interesting news about Messi in this.
Leo.
And Best of the Best is back in this form of insert. So let's read some stuff about this, right? UEFA hobby season returns 24-25 with a bang as Topps UEFA Club Competition's flagship product arrives earlier than before. Hunt for short printed team logo border variations. I believe we saw that this year.
Did we? Yeah, Benfica one is that. But no, did we see it this year? Did we see it? Yeah, that was we seen it in the New York office when we visited Fanatics Fest. We got to visit the Fanatics office, and we got a sneak preview of that. And I was about to say that until you said it already existed, and I started thinking my years were wrong. But yeah, no, that is going to be a fun parallel to have.
That's a great parallel. We've seen that.
Unbelievable. It's like, I think it's pretty much like you picture like a logo factor, like the Topps factor parallel, but it's the club crest. I think that's the kind of vibe of it, and it's just the borders. I think it's we seen it and we liked it, so yeah, that's a good inclusion.
Yep. Sketch cards and premium class autograph relics of featuring the world's most prominent superstars and legends.
I love sketch cards being thrown in. I love things that are actually kind of genuine, one of a kind, and things that you don't know what they're going to look like until someone hits them. Do you know what I mean? Like I like that a lot.
Things there are only
No,
one.
don't do that. No, don't do that. Come on.
Other inserts include the hobby exclusive Mind Game, falling one every 4 cases on average. Cover stars, so a 1 in 4 case hit there. Cover stars, historic captains, best of the best UCL legends, trophy chasers, and new era also joined the fray, with each subset also featuring autograph variations.
Do you think Harry Kane is in the trophy chasers set list? That's right. That's a good one.
Yeah. Popular Marks of Excellence. Marks of Excellence is back. On-card autograph return featuring legends such as Ronaldinho, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Andres Iniesta, and Davor Zucker.
Yeah, I think this might be, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is the first time they've announced who the Marks of Excellence are in advance. Were they not always kind of, you didn't know? Or did they recently start? I thought at some point you didn't know.
Recently started adding them. Maybe you didn't know when it started.
Yeah, I felt like it was a surprise. Now they're just on the checklist, which obviously helps breakers, etc. You know, when you're trying to split up spots. But yeah, I thought they used to be kind of hidden hits and then kind of like hidden gem vibe.
And now they're
kind of known in advance, which makes sense. Not terrible.
New teammates dual autographs paired club legends such as Ronaldo and Roberto Carlos. And here we go. This is some interesting stuff. Look for 1-of-1 rookie arrival autograph patch cards featuring an on-card inscription from top rookie Endrick. Asterisk.
Yeah, remember we had that for Jude last year in flagship, which I'm not sure if it was ever hit yet.
That was the one, whatever.
We got to give a segment to Talk Sport. Yeah. I don't know if that's even ever been hit.
The Brazilian Wonder Kid also graces the ultra short print hype insert and returning case hit mojo, as Enzo pointed out just there a few minutes ago. The competition's top veterans, most exciting rookies make up a 200 card base set, which features a range of new parallels and variations. Look forward to 1 auto or relic per box, 3 numbered parallels, and exclusive raindrop and flow factor parallels in every box. Hobby boxes will contain 24 packs, 8 cards per pack, 1 auto or relic box, and cost $80. Hobby cases will contain 12 boxes and cost $960. Those are US prices. So a few things there. Pricing is one.
Pricing's great.
Yeah. So they've dropped the price. Am I right in saying that?
I think it was close last year. I can't remember.
Was it close?
I feel like at least last year they enriched the product to a point where the price made sense anyway.
Yeah, because people will have heard us talk about this kind of ad nauseum on the show, but last year flagship went from a sort of good introductory first hobby box in theory to being a good first hobby box in practice, I think, for people. We would have always been pretty reluctant to recommend flagship as a jumping off point for the hobby in previous years, just because the hits were difficult, if non-existent, to get. And now then they juice it up and there's a hit in every box and kind of starts to be an easier proposition.
A good gateway entry point to the hobby.
Exactly. We have a checklist, which we don't have to go through in huge detail because this is only being pre-ordered and it will come out, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it for a couple of ones either end. Obviously, there are rookies and veterans in the base checklist, and they're setting who's going to be the rookies. And the interesting thing is, because this is coming out November pre-order, by the time you get to the likes of Stadium Club and Merlin, more time will have passed. Then I felt like in previous years, because it's all been kind of released quickly at the end of the summer, it's not as much variation of the rookies, but it's exciting.
They definitely launching this early is one of the biggest wins that we've kind of seen in a very long time for just the soccer hobby calendar. It's going to be great to have this for 1 or 2 months maybe without any other kind of interrupting releases. Yeah, I like here the way they're kind of saying veteran, rookie, and then there's also retired. I think retired you can't really call them all legends, I suppose. Retired is fine. I think veteran isn't necessarily the term. They need another term there. Active player maybe would have been good.
Yeah.
Rafael Leao's not a veteran. Do you know?
No. I mean, well, just to point that out, I was going to say the Future Stars players are listed as veterans. You can't be a Future Star and a veteran at the same time.
No, certainly not.
Although some people do become veterans of the Future Stars
insert
checklist. Yeah,
That's
insert. Let's see. Is Harry Kane in Trophy Chasers just to finish your cruel joke at his expense?
He is.
Is he?
Number 8, yeah, there, where your mouse is.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Rough. So is Hyun-Min Son. That's tough stuff. Cover stars, which I think it looks like is one of those subsets that's not for everybody, but probably would look nice if you completed that subset. It looked like Epicenter, Mojo, Mind Game. That's the 1 in 4 cases. New insert. Ultimate Stage Chrome cards are making a return.
Nice.
They were people remember that kind of signaled that something was happening with Lamine Yamal, with some of his Ultimate Stage.
It's Autograph 101, yeah.
Yep. The Grail is back, and this year it's Messi.
Love it.
Now here's one for you. Lionel Messi's not retired.
It says retired, does it?
Yeah. Because he's not retired. He's currently playing.
Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe that's breaking news. Messi has retired after the exit in MLS Cup.
Oh wow! There you are.
There you have it.
So the Grail is Leo Messi. We have, of course, predicted that they might use the well, no, it was somebody else predicted and wrote in. We said it on the show that they might use the Argentina license to do a Grail card for Messi in an Argentina set. Wouldn't that be?
That'd be fun.
Loads of sketch cards. Loads of sketch cards. Wow.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. This is very exciting, and there's a lot to unpack. Obviously, this is how flagship should be. There should be kind of something for everybody in here. There should be patches and autos and jewels, and So yeah. And so, how do you feel about moving the flagship release date up?
I think it's brilliant. I'm kind of like, with moving it up, we might end up seeing everything else moved up, which is a good and bad thing. So, like, will they still have the same almost proximity potentially, right? But
yeah.
I mean, I can't really think of a bigger win, to be honest. Like to move that up, like to have that, because like I'll always accept that we can't necessarily have a flagship before the season kicks off, right? In anticipation of the season, but like December, like it's pretty much the halfway point of the season. Like I think it's a very solid place to have, especially with the kind of winter break that comes up in some of the leagues, obviously. But it's like, I don't know, I like it. Like maybe November would be the perfect release date for it, to be honest. Again, in an ideal world, but to have this type of progress, because I'd love to like, when do we remember when flagship released last year? Like, do we have that information on hand? Is that
no, I think it was February, March, maybe.
Yeah, I could probably find it. I won't dig into it now. We should have done that in advance. But that's like this. Like I love it. Like it's still kind of flawed. But when you consider we're also getting Eurochrome now, and it's like 6 months since the tournament ended. It's like we're so used to being late, and it's like that's not just a Topps thing. Like that happens with Panini as well. So like. If Premier League Prism came out today, it would be, or in December, that'd be fantastic as well. So, yeah, I
can tell you when 2023-24 UCC came out. It was April 12th.
Yeah, come on. That's big. That's not small improvement. That's huge.
That's a huge improvement.
I mean, think about this. This is a genuine point to point out. Dublin Card Show will have products from the season during the season still happening.
That's right. Yeah. And for us as people who run a card show in the early part of the year, that is massive.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like when we're at that show and there's new people in the door because we're promoting it and advertising it, and people maybe who are not to grips with the hobby, we're not sitting there with Lamine Yamal rookie boxes on the table as opposed to this new season's sets that have all the players that have just signed and they're up to date and they're in line with what people want. We're not outdated.
Yeah.
And we won't be back in date until April when the season's pretty much wrapped up. So December, incredible, big win. And can I say, when we were at Fanatics Fest, we got to do a little tour of the Fanatics HQ. We got to see some of the soccer stuff, and we got to chat to some of the people that put this stuff together. And they said to us at that point, Jason, they did say, UCC flagship, we're going to try get out in December. And we both just went,
and right now, they're
on target, but we just kind of laughed and said, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yes.
So to see it is fantastic, and it definitely speaks to a concentrated effort, I would say. That's one thing I will say when we were there as well, Jason. Like, it felt like a lot of the people in charge of product, and I think this is something that will always kind of reign true as time just progresses naturally due to various trends. But I feel like a lot of people that are in charge of product like soccer, and that makes a huge difference. I think there's actually like people that are making some of these decisions actually are passionate about soccer, which in years gone past wasn't necessarily the case. They were NFL, they were football, they were basketball, whatever. It does feel like there's kind of a crew of people in there that actually care about soccer, that are actually in positions to raise those concerns that actually be heard. I think that's kind of my gauging of what I've seen behind the scenes.
Yep. I think you're bang on there. So pre-orders November 12th. We're assuming that'll translate into a early December drop.
Yeah, they had mentioned it on Top Strip that's the intentions was a December drop. Now whether that comes true, again, we have to see it when we see it. But at the moment, it looks solid.
So I'm sure we'll be covering that a lot more as time goes by. But it will, I think, change the entire course of the season, of the hobby season, if flagship comes out in December, because it will just give everyone more time to, first of all, it gives you more time to prospect. That's a big thing. Because you haven't necessarily gotten to the business end of the season where everyone is watching. By the time you get to May, we generally see that's when people are looking at, okay, who's going to finish as top scorer, who's going to win the Young Player of the Year awards in various leagues, who's performing in the Champions League latter stages, the Europa League latter stages. And you've kind of had a whole... So by the time, say, you're releasing a flagship in April, the rookies are they've had a whole season to either perform or not perform.
In the eyes of kind of the prospector, they've either made it or they've flopped, regardless of who they are. Yeah.
Yeah. You have 16-year-olds who have flopped because they've scored, 2 goals in 10 appearances or something. But the thing is now you have, we're not even at Christmas, so you are going to have more injuries throughout the season. You're going to have some teams playing games they weren't expecting to play. You're going to have different dynamics which are going to produce opportunities for players and take opportunities away from other players. So you actually kind of do get a whole 6 or 7 months, from comes out in December, say, until June, basically, of playing. And that's like incredible compared to previous years.
And I also think you're going to have a Champions League hobby Chrome checklist that looks totally different to flagship as opposed to marginally different to flagship.
Yes, I see what you're saying there as well. Yeah.
That's going to be fantastic. It really depends where Chrome falls in this kind of equation, right? Like if this comes out in December and Chrome comes in January, is that good, bad, whatever. But like for now, we just have to sit back and watch. It seems like Topps' soccer season has started at a different time. And obviously, they're going to be inheriting the Premier League license and stuff like that. So they obviously have to really move around their calendars to figure out how they're going to get certain things done. That's, when they have basketball and they have football, etc., etc. The fact that soccer is being pulled forward instead of pushed back is unbelievable news, because it wasn't always a given that's what they could have done.
Yeah. And I actually think as well, I mean, I've people will be maybe listening to this going like, oh my God, they're being overwhelmingly positive about this, but it is overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, there's no... if people have negatives to this, like the only negatives I can see is if some player is playing well this week and people go, he's not in flagship, they missed him. Yeah. But it's like, that's what every other product in the rest of the year is going to be for. Like, this is a good thing.
But I also think if you're coming out in before Christmas, then I think I will just naturally be a lot more, number one, excited, because you're covering the season that we've now been watching since August. And number two, a lot more forgiving. It's like, I actually don't need a perfect flagship product if it comes out. If they're taking pre-orders in the middle of November and it's out in December.
If we can have, like, Jason, just like this, obviously, like, again, like if you want to talk about growing the hobby and it's like just us, soccerunited.com is where we sell our boxes, etc. It's like Irish people are going to buy this for Christmas. It's now a Christmas gift that actually makes sense. It's not like you don't have to buy it for someone and then on Christmas Day go, it actually is the new one. Like it just came out. Actually, I know it's the old stuff and your man hasn't signed and there's no Mbappe and Real Madrid kit, but it's actually brand new. I swear. Like you don't have to deal. Like that's how you grow an industry that's not, there yet. It's like this. Here it is. This is for this season. This was just came out, brand new shampoo off the shelf, underneath the Christmas tree. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, and just to to build on that. Obviously, the likes of Match Attacks and Panini Adrenaline XL and all, these all come out with the new season, and then they release update sets throughout the year or whatever. But if you are kind of in a market like we are that is kind of focused on these Match Attacks kind of TCG style products or these sticker products, and you're trying to convert it, then, and especially if you want to market to kids partly, but also to adults, it's like, you can have the new, if you're on the fence between joining what we would recognize as the hobby and staying in the Match Attack sphere, you can have the current season of Match Attacks, or you can have last season of hobby product.
That's more expensive last season. The outdated one is more, so it doesn't transfer, it doesn't translate if you're not in it.
So I think it's, as you've pointed out there, as a growth thing, it's massive, which they obviously,
they know. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, them guys.
But I'm happy.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant news. It is. And to be honest, like the only like who knows like how big or small the print run in, but I think the only negative, if you want to be really negative about it, is like I think a lot of these big time breakers, just we hate breakers. We hate breakers. A lot of these people in the hobby that are like us, like we don't. You don't have to be a breaker. Like if it's the only product and it's the only new product, we're all gonna rip it. So it might actually remove the accessibility of it potentially. But again, I don't think that's a huge it's a problem. But I don't think it's that bad of a problem. But you know what I mean? I think like there's a chance it's like we're like, oh, this perfect Christmas gift. It's like, yeah, if you can get one, they double the price. You know, it's like
yeah.
Because now we all have it, and we don't have Chrome on the horizon necessarily, so we're all focused on this new stuff. We want to chase whatever, you know. But I think it should be fine. I think it will be fine. But it's the only negative I can see, maybe, of it standing alone.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's move on to something a little bit more current, and by current I mean from 6 months ago. Eurochrome is coming out tomorrow. They're going to be early access breaks today, I believe, on Fanatics Live. The old early access boys will be at it again.
Back at it again.
There is a checklist going around, and it doesn't say rookie and veteran. It says veteran and debutant because of the national debut situation. Just one thing, well, a couple of things to point out on the checklist. One is that the Renaissance insert, previously from Merlin Chrome, is in Eurochrome, and there's only one subject, and it's Lamine Yamal. So Lamine Yamal has a Renaissance.
That's brilliant. It's terrible, but it's brilliant. Why not just make a few more? Like I'm for having a rookie Renaissance, even though they don't have the rookie logo apparently. A rookie Renaissance Lamine Yamal in a Spanish kit. I think that's a win for sure.
Yeah.
But, I try to disguise it a little bit more. You know, you can make a couple more subjects.
I know, just put him in among 5 people, maybe.
Yeah, why not? Ronaldo, that would be good in a Portuguese kit. Like, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Anyway, there's also the Merlin's Euro. So that's from Merlin Chrome, and then Merlin's Euro Match Ball also has a Lamine Yamal. There's also borrowed from Merlin Chrome previously. That has, again, just one Lamine Yamal card apparently on this checklist, which again may not be the final version.
Do you know what? I had heard a rumor that we could end up with a Merlin Euro set. So maybe isn't that interesting? Could that have been scrapped, but they took the best bits out of it? Maybe that could make sense. Because I'd heard about that ages ago, and then I haven't heard about nothing ever really popped up anywhere
off the face of the earth.
Yeah, so maybe they've taken, because that does make sense. Because maybe they just pulled in this. We'll just take Yamal, like we made them already, whatever. We'll just use Yamal. We have them all. We have the Renaissance. You know, that actually would make sense. That
does make sense and is very interesting. And by the way, is the kind of insight you only get.
That's the greatest Let's go.
There's also these autographed Euro final goal net relics, which feature Spanish players.
Yes.
Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, Rodri, Dani Carvajal, Mikel Oyarzabal, Fabian Ruiz, Dani Olmo, and Alvaro Morata all have Euro final goal net relic cards. And I can tell you, even though early access today and release is tomorrow, a sort of a super collector, some people may know, named Jeff, put on his Instagram story that he had hit this redemption of the autographed Euro final net relic of Lamine Yamal.
He's asking, is it a 101? I'm not sure if it is, because I would imagine the Euro net relic, they have enough net to make more than just a 101, but it could be.
Could be. We also have the Tops Nows as well, but that's a big net.
It's a big net, that's right.
Yeah. So there you go. So Jeff, if anyone can help Jeff on that, please do. Although he seems to be ahead of us in many ways. Then you have the draw cards. You have the Berlin by Night. Is that what we call that one?
Yeah, Berlin by Night. Yeah.
So I don't want to spend too long on it, because obviously we're going to see the cards. Well, Jeff has already seen them, but we're going to see them tonight and over the course of tomorrow as people break them. We can talk about them then. How does that sound?
Oh yeah, Thursday we can do a little check-in on how people are feeling about Eurochrome. Obviously, there was a lot of fatigue going in because of Pristine didn't go too well for a lot of people. Euro Finest was kind of a fun set, but wasn't groundbreaking. People like the Jose Mourinho set, but it was kind of classic ecom. And obviously, it's being so late, and it still has the licensing problems, that there was a lot of kind of Eurochrome, and then people were laughing that it came so late and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But upon the kind of eve of its release, or its release, depending on who you are, where you are, people seem to be excited. That's the overwhelming kind of sense I'm getting from the DMs we get and the messages we get and emails we get is Eurochrome. Do you have it? Can we have it? You know, that's the kind of vibe at the moment. So
yes,
we'll see if that holds true when people are hitting the unlicensed cards. But I do think there is enough license to chase in there that hopefully people have a good time with it, and we kind of get excited. And on the odds, Jason, I don't know if you checked that, the odds confirm that we're going to have a sapphire version as well of this Euro set. So we might not have Merlin Euro Chrome based on what we've seen here on this checklist, but sapphire is hashtag confirmed.
Right. That is very interesting. Yeah, I think we were. I don't think based on our previous coverage of the product in the lead up, we were talking about how Cristiano collectors are going to be very much into this. Obviously, Lamine Yamal is going to drive it, but the lack of licensing, the lack of rookie shields, and the national debut, which is not super popular, the performance of Road to Pristine, Road to Finest, and then Jose, it didn't look like this was going to be. And it didn't look like a super short print run either.
Yeah.
So it didn't look like this was going to be kind of a big hit. But yeah, a lot of people have been asking us, what's the story with Euro Chrome? I'm going to be ripping loads of it.
So we'll wait and see. We'll do a check-in on Thursday to see how things are going. I'm interested to see the boxes. I don't know why the box is kind of shaped like a sapphire box. There's a lot going on with this set. That's a bit different, isn't it?
A lot of moving parts.
That's right.
Maybe people saw our covering the video of the early open and are talking about the fact that the stock looks good and people are so into card stock that they were like about it.
You're saying we're market movers, Jason? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think it's a great privilege and a great responsibility, but I do think so.
We did have a few people message us saying that they bought Women's Sapphire on the back of my crunching of the numbers.
Yes.
And can I say, having watched rips of that set for the last week, I was bang on when I said you're pretty much getting reds and 101s every case almost, and that has been
indicated.
I love when the numbers kind of reflect in the openings, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
There was bad collation on that product though. That is the one thing. I don't know how much you've heard about that, Jason, but if you hit a Barcelona player early in the case, you can kind of imagine that you're going to have a case full of Barcelona numbered. And similar kind of rings true if you're hitting them at Macario for Chelsea, you might get a few of them, whereas other cases will be barren and not really have them. So some form of collation kind of mess up there. But I haven't seen anyone kind of rip a case and be sad. You know what I mean? Everyone was like, this is brilliant. And anytime, sorry, I just say, like, I've seen people do like personals on Instagram, and I kind of click onto an Instagram live where they're doing like a personal case, because it's the kind of product where even if you're not a big spender, you can do a personal case, right? Mm-hmm. Every time I kind of click on, which I thought that was fascinating as well, just to see people doing personal cases, which I don't feel really happens with everything, obviously, because of the price. But anytime I clicked on to like a random live midway through, there was always like a gold or a black sapphire selection. Sorry, not a gold. Sorry, a red sapphire selection or a 101. There was like the back walls were always good, full of like low numbered. So that's rang through. But as you're saying, Eurochrome didn't look like a small print run by any means, but the appetite seems to be there, and they priced it well. That's that again. A lot of things can be resolved in this hobby by either a tight print run or a well-priced product.
Yeah. Every time you reduce the price by a tenner, you get a lot more people going like, okay, I'll have I'll have a little dip in.
That's right.
The only thing about Euro Sapphire collation as well was that some people were saying women's Sapphire was that there was surprisingly limited number of cards from the base set per case. Didn't seem like they were collating them evenly throughout the cases.
Yeah.
So apart from maybe some minor collation issues, the maths was...
In fairness, collation obviously gets harder when there's a smaller print run.
That's true.
There must be a science to it.
I imagine there's quite a...
But it must be very hard to collate it if it's so small print run. You know,
I've got a lot of sympathy for people.
Cards have to go somewhere, Jason. Cards have to go somewhere.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's only so many places you can put them, so they're going to be collation issues.
That's very, very true. Okay, let me tell you a story.
Thank you.
I was watching last Thursday. I was watching Tottenham away at Galatasaray in the Europa League. I believe they lost.
That's the longest cricket sound ever. Sorry.
That's a lot of big cricket. That cricket has stamina. Anyway, I was watching Tottenham get beaten by Galatasaray, and which by the way, I'm not taking I know people are like, he probably loved that being an Arsenal fan. He probably hate watching. I'm not an Arsenal fan, so don't write in about that. And a young lad called Will Lancashire scored for Tottenham because Ange is using a lot of rookies this year. And the commentator said, and that's his first senior goal, but he's been prolific at under 21 level. He scored 24 goals in 25 Premier League 2 appearances or something like that. And then I thought to myself, I tell you what, the Premier League have their own minor league, their own under-21 competition, Premier League 2. Is that not ideal grounds for a Bowman when Topps get the Premier League license?
Wow.
If ever you needed a Bowman product, Topps Premier League 2 Bowman.
Like, how many? Can you name any top players that have come from? You ready to
You
go,
better
are you?
believe it.
Oh
You better
my
believe
God.
it. Let me bring up Transfer Marked.
Okay.
Because I have here the most successful goal scorers in the Premier League 2. And I can go from the 2019-20 season just so that we'll know them because they're recent. And if I show you this, and the top 10 are Liam Delap, Folarin Balogun, Joe Hugo, Abu Kamara, Shola Shoretire, Luke Harris, James McAtee, Don Ballard, Charlie Whitaker, and Thomas Dixon Peters. Now, you might say, I only know 3 of those, or I only know 4 of those, but that is exactly how many players you're supposed to know out of under 21s or prospects.
Right.
So I think this is Cole Palmer's there, number 18 on this list.
You think there's potential? Do you think it could potentially work better as like an insert set built into a Premier League Chrome, for example?
No, so I think
No.
I don't want that. I think this is like an actual genuine opportunity for prospecting and a genuine, like, because I know, like, you ever meet like a United fan or something, and they'll tell you like, oh, there's this young lad in the academy, and like everyone's talking about him, and it's like, well, who's talking about him? People on Man United forums, and it's like, yes, people on Man United forums are talking about him, or like Everton would be like, we have this fella, he's the best kid since Rooney, we've seen come through the academy, and it would kind of it would give fans opportunities to prospect. You know the way you hear stories of like somebody will get promoted or whatever with their boyhood club to the Premier League, and it'll be like, and his granddad on the day he was born put €5 on him playing in the Premier League for Sunderland or whatever, you know. So it'll kind of give fans an opportunity to back their young kids that they're all watching on, you know, MUTV or whatever.
There you go.
And be a genuine prospecting product. So Topps, please, when you get the Premier League license, consider a Bowman Premier League 2 product for me, as a personal favorite to me.
Do you want it to be short print or?
I don't care.
You don't care. Okay. For you, and make that Arsenal checklist long.
Yeah, because you know, I know all the boys from the academy. You know, I'm on the phone with Per Mertesacker every day, figuring out who's to play this weekend in the under 21s.
Who's Arteta going to pull up?
Exactly. Yeah. Who's the next Miles Lewis Skelly?
That's right.
Again, not an Arsenal fan. Nobody messaged me. Okay.
Oh, good, brilliant.
Yes, that's just a little
tidbit.
There for you. Yeah. Little tidbit. Again, where do you get it? Except Soccer Cards United.
There's not a lot of places, but here is definitely one of them. For better or for worse.
It's definitely one of them. Yeah. Okay, just one more thing on my list, then, so then we can go to any other business.
Yep.
There was a lot of excitement over the last weekend in Macau, in China.
You have a cow? Or?
I haven't got a cow. I wish I had a cow and get some delicious, tasty milk.
That's right. Good dairy industry in Ireland.
Oh, fantastic dairy industry. If we could get dairy cards, then we'd be onto something. I'm sure, actually, just out of interest, I'm sure that one of the dairy companies in Ireland at some point in the 20th century released trading cards with milk.
Definitely. Or at the very least, there has been cow cards in Allen and Ginter, I'm sure. Sorry, I had a whole Irish.
Okay. There must be like a Avonmore Stars of the GAA or something.
And if there's not,
that's niche content. Anyway, in Macau, there was the second edition of the ASCC, the Asia Card Show, Asia Sports Collectors Convention, excuse me.
Yeah.
And it was very, very interesting and very exciting. And one of the things to point out before we even go anywhere else is that they had a number of soccer legends at it.
I was so jealous.
I'm sure you weren't jealous for Javier Zanetti.
No, certainly not. Although I respect the legends, you know, regardless.
You respect the legends, of course.
But it certainly wasn't him that had me.
Is your man here? Is he on the? Is he on the?
You want to be hosting a very successful show to not have this front and center. I'd have it pinned, and it would be on every single pose.
Andrea Pirlo was there, but I can't see the.
There was a lot of coverage of him, let me tell you. But
I actually know for a fact that Kevin from Fora got some stuff signed. So let's see. Kevin didn't post it. I just posted a story. Again, must be nice to not need to post a picture of you and Andrea Pirlo at the end of the card show.
It's crazy. We did it. But no, it looked to be a brilliant show. It was fun. They had the similar packets to like the National, and I verified they were on Chrome stock. They only said tops, but they were Chromium, and they were given out for free. And or maybe you'd filled out a survey or something to get them, as opposed to having to buy like the deadest of deadest boxes in order to get some. Although that always makes for fun gambling, almost buying some crazy boxes and big hits come out in boxes. But yeah. It was impressive to see, the second ever show getting those kind of premium custom cards that are kind of, it's almost like they have definitely cemented themselves as, the Asia National Sports Collectors Convention, which is what they're named.
Absolutely. Here in Europe, when we have our card shows, we, like the Dublin show, or let's see what I have beside me here. I have a Paris card show, custom card here beside me.
Very nice.
And we got Showtime, but we haven't had these Topps Chrome, kind of proper mini sets, specifically to a show. So you wonder which European show is going to be the first one to get this, pack pull Chrome card set. It's an arms race.
But it's good. It was good to see. It looked fun. We got good feedback off people.
Yes. I actually have some.
We almost went this year as well, by the way. We almost did, but then our friends at Aer Lingus haven't quite figured out the Asia airline routes.
No. Maybe we need to sit down with Aer Lingus and.
That's right. Get that direct to Macau.
Yeah. I was talking to a couple of collectors, but Jamie Salter, people may know, is a collector of global renown in soccer, I believe, and a mate of ours. And I said to him, Jamie, what was the show like? If you get a minute, jot a few notes down for me, and I can.
You can't be a guest. You said you can't be a guest on this podcast, but
I'm not bringing you on to talk about it. I don't have guests, but you can write in.
Okay.
And Jamie said the following, and this is quite dense, right? Lots of high-end stuff, which if anyone has, been following the hobby at all over the last few years, you can imagine there's a lot of high-end stuff in that part of the world.
Definitely.
But in James' opinion, very overpriced. People willing to negotiate, but usually not below 115% of comps.
Right. I mean,
so that's sounds like a market of people not motivated to sell.
Yeah, it sounds like a market of people that don't necessarily need the money, and also a market of people that have one of ones and 115% comps, otherwise known as "this is my price, pay it, otherwise I'm not selling it," which is fair enough on actual high.
And then very common to all card shows. First day was impossible to buy at the first price, but Saturday and Sunday evening seem to provide a bit more opportunity. That's a common piece of advice I would say to anyone wanting to buy at a card show: is wait until the sellers are looking at all the stuff they still have to bring home, and then swoop in, and they'll give you some sweet deals.
That's right.
And then he said, as a foreigner, it felt like people were less willing to deal with you than if you were local. I would say, again, that's common to almost every card show. There's a cultural barrier for us if we go to Denmark for a show, or if we, there's
a language barrier as well. But if you come to the Dublin card show, of course, we treat every international vendor with an attendee with absolute respect, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I should say that Jamie said that everyone was very, very nice to him. He's not making any sort of disparaging remark. It's just saying there kind of was obviously a barrier there, which I personally was. That was one of the things I was thinking. Like, if we do go, what is it like there for kind of people who've flown in from outside of Asia? He said you will struggle to sell deals if you don't speak Chinese and you don't have a table. Which again, you struggle to sell at the Paris card show if you don't speak French or have a table.
You struggle at the National too.
Yeah, that's right. I would say having a table is generally a more larger obstacle than whatever language it may be. Yeah. But here's one that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Based on Jamie's experience of the show, he said people in China consider CR7 as the GOAT. Messi wasn't moving as easily as CR7.
That is fascinating.
Isn't that just the most counterintuitive thing you've ever heard?
Yeah, mainly because you would imagine that they're dictating a lot of the price on high end. So obviously America is in a huge way, but why is Ronaldo in the bin then if they consider him the GOAT?
Yeah. So maybe we're starting to see a bit of two spheres, two hemispheres emerging. Messi can have the West and Ronaldo can have the East. I don't know. there were fully competitive TCG tournaments going on throughout the show. Showtime was from midday to 8 p.m. to allow people to enjoy each evening and make the most of Macau nightlife. That is my dream card show. Starting at noon is just incredible. Yeah. Obviously, it depends on if people are flying. In Macau, obviously, people are coming in, they're staying in the hotels or whatever, and there's casinos and bars and restaurants and stuff, so there's kind of part of it. But I think I have to go next year. Just the idea of being able to wander into the show at lunchtime and not have missed half the show.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
I'm sure it's good for vendors too. I'd say they get a lot of stuff done because they're probably there still early and they're chatting to other vendors and they're making deals.
Yeah, it's nice. And so I wasn't really, his feedback wasn't really convincing me to go next year. But then when he told me that thing about starting at midday, I was like, maybe I'll have to step out on Aer Lingus. I don't know.
We'll have to see what happened.
And PSA was there taking submissions, but only from China or Hong Kong residents.
Right. Fascinating.
So that was really interesting feedback. Thank you to Jamie for throwing that at us. Enzo, is there any other business before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. We're excited for a variety of products coming out soon.
Yes.
I think Thursday's show, we're going to have a lot more to see. If you're based in Dublin or you can be convinced to get on a plane, such as Aer Lingus has travel routes from most places in the world, maybe not Asia, but it does. Do check out DublinCardShow.com because tickets are selling. And we're going to start promoting probably other side of in 2025, basically January, Jason. But no, I don't really have any other business. I don't know, I feel like something. There's always stuff happening around where I am. I'll mute myself.
It's okay. You don't have to mute yourself. I just heard a creak and I thought, is this another sound effect?
Yeah, someone's coming to get me. No, that's a warehouse door opening, but it's not ours, so we're good.
Okay, well, as the warehouse door opens and closes in the background, we say goodbye to you for another episode of Soccer Cards United. We're back on Thursday for episode 259. Enzo, have a great week.
Jason, it's our birthday weekend this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Let's not forget. So I hope you have. If I'm not chatting, I'll chat to you Thursday, of course. But I hope you're going to have a nice. It is officially the birthday week of both of us.
Yes, and people may be saying that doesn't make any sense. Surely they don't have the same birthday week, but we do.
Yeah, less than maybe 12 hours apart of coming into this world. And believe it or not, we'll leave it for another time. Will we?
Yeah, I think we'll leave it for another time. I'm sure. I'm sure long-time listeners are like, "Oh my god, every year with
every single year."
Anyway, look, that's enough self-indulgence. We're off, and we're back on Thursday. Thank you for listening.